Have a nice day. Today is Friday, 14th of February 2025. Starting the newspaper of today with the world news including Trump surprised Prime Minister Modi with a signed book, special photo from India visit. Fixed Bharat 2047 means make India great again. Key highlights of Prime Minister Modi, President Trump meet at White House. President Trump pulls chair for MP Modi during a meeting at White House. Trump approves extradition of 2611 accused that Thawu dynasty more to follow. India not neutral. India stands with the peace, says PM Modi on Russia-Ukraine war at White House. US President Trump welcomes PM Modi to White House with a warm hug, tells he expects wonderful trade deals with India. Now, starting with the Hindu newspaper, Trump indicates wonderful trade deals for India and the United States as he hosts Prime Minister Modi in Washington. United States President Donald Trump and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi shake hands during a news conference in the East Room of the White House Thursday, February 13, 2025 in the Washington. Trump welcomed Modi with a long handshake and a warm hug while describing the Prime Minister as a great friend for a long time. US President Donald Trump announced plans to firm up some wonderful trade deals for India and the United States as he hosted Prime Minister Narendra Modi for wide-ranging talks focusing on charting a near pathway for broadening the bilateral partnership, including in the areas of defense, energy, and critical technology. PM Narendra Modi, our US visit live updates at his Oval Office on Thursday. Trump welcomed Modi with a long handshake and a warm hug while describing the Prime Minister as a great friend for a long time. The two leaders made brief statements to the media and answered a number of questions before settling down for the crucial talks hours after the American president announced a new reciprocal tariff policy for all the trading partners of the United States. Iran says it will rebuild the nuclear facilities if attacked, says Masoud Pezeshkian. It is the brains of our children that build it, Iranian President Pezeshkian said during a visit to the southern province of Bushehr. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian on Thursday said his country would rebuild its nuclear facility if attacked, following US media reports that Israel was likely to launch a strike on key Iranian nuclear sites. They are threatening us that they will attack our Natanz nuclear facility. Come and attack it. It is the brains of our children that built it, Mr. Pezeshkian said during a visit to the southern province of Bushehr. If we destroy 100 nuclear facilities, our children will build 1,000. He said without directly referring to the United States reports. Now going towards the Hindustan Times newspaper states that President rule imposed in the violence hit Manipur. Security personnel stand guard in Impala hours after President rules was imposed in the Manipur. The union government on Thursday announced that it was imposing president's rule in Manipur, potentially averting a constitutional crisis after failing to find someone to replace a former chief minister and Biden Singh, who resigned on February 9 and missing a deadline to convince the state's legislative assembly. The Manipur Assembly, which has a tenure till 2027, was put under suspended ammunition, which means that the House has not been dissolved and its members will continue to be MLAs. Such a situation allows the parties to try and form a government at a later stage. It is the assembly is in the suspended animation. The assembly has not been dissolved, said the Bharatiya Janata Party's Northeast in charge, Sambit Patra. Under the Article 356 of the Constitution, the proclamation of the President's rule must be approved by both the House of the Parliament within 2 months. Additionally, the proclamation can be extended for 6 months from the date of the issue. Manipur is the only state or union territory with an assembly that is currently under president's rule. Workplace reprimand, not a criminal offense, Supreme Court. The top court clarified that proceedings under Section 504 of the Indian Penal Code (IPC) cannot be invoked unless it is proven that the rebuke was intended to provoke the subordinate to commit an offense. breach public peace, underlying that any other interpretation may lead to cross a this issue of liberty in the workplaces. A senior reprimand at the workplace does not amount to an intentional insult. Warranting criminal proceedings against the former, the Supreme Court has ruled, emphasizing that interpreting penal provisions otherwise would have disastrous consequences, crippling the entire disciplinary atmosphere required in the workplace. High-handedness in human conduct. When courts slammed enforcement drive investigations, the top court clarified that proceedings under Section 504 of the Indian Penal Code (IPC) cannot be invoked unless it is proven that the rebuke was intended to provoke the subordinate to commit an offense or breach public peace, underlining that any other interpretation may lead to gross misuse of liberty in the workplace. The offense punishable with a jail term up to 2 years has been replaced with the Section 352 under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita (BNS) effective from July 2024. MP starts to unload Union Carbide waste disposal facility at Pithampur. The process of unloading 337 metric tons of hazardous waste transported from the Union Carbide plant in Bhopal began in the Pithampur industrial area in the Dhar district of Madhya Pradesh on Thursday, officials said. The exercise, which began at around 3 p.m. in adherence of all safety protocols and in the presence of the local representatives and administration, is perhaps the first step towards the long-run process of a closure for the victims and families of the nearly 5,000 people who died on this night of December 3, 1984, when tons of toxic methyl isocyanate gas shrouded Bhopal. Now, going towards the economy of the country from the business point of view, few takers for sovereign green bonds as investors seek to avoid lower yields. For the past 2.5 years, market participants have not settled for lower yields, limiting the proceeds from green bonds, as the State Secretary, Department of Economic Affairs, told the Indian Express. When the Reserve Bank of India (RBI) auctioned two new SGRBs worth rupees 10,000 crore in the month of November and January, bonds valued of rupees 7,443 crore remained unsold and were devolved to primary dealers as investors sought high yields. With the natural gas demand set to rise, India's oil and gas companies ink LNG import deal worth billions of dollars. Deals include long-term contracts by public sector refiners, Indian Oil Corporation and BPCL, with Adonok and Gujarat State Petroleum Corporation's deal with French major Total Energies. India is already among the top LNG importers in the world and already has long-term LNG import contracts with the suppliers from Qatar, US, Australia, and United Arab Emirates. India's tariff is a big problem. US sale of oil and gas will bridge trade deficit, Trump. Speaking at a press briefing with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Trump said that Prime Minister Modi, in a good faith, announced reductions to India's unfair and very strong tariffs, which are a big problem, I must say. President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi hold a news conference in the East Room of the White House in Washington. Now, going to the science and tech, we had the fetus in fetu, a twin mystery. The presence of the twin inside the body of the twin may go undetected for years. At the moment of conception, twins began a lifelong relationship that scientists think might answer some of their life's profound questions. Rare fetus in fetus. In the month of January 2025, doctors at the Buldhana District Women's Hospital in the Maharashtra detected a rare case of fetus in fetu in a pregnant woman. This condition occurs when a malformed fetus develops inside another fetus. A rare congenital anomaly was detected during a regular sonographic assessment of 32-year-old pregnant woman. Fetus in fetu is a fetus like mass developed within the body of the other fetus in a monozygotic twin pregnancy. Basically, one twin is very underdeveloped and enwrapped inside the body of the other twin, so much so that the pregnancy is considered a singleton pregnancy. The presence of the twin inside the body of the other twin may go undetected for years. In this case, the condition was discovered during a routine pregnancy scan itself. The woman delivered the baby by a C-section delivery. Doctors performed a surgery on the newborn to remove the undeveloped fetus wrapped in the infant's body. Both the mother and the baby recovered well, also known as cryptodedemus. This is a rare congenital disorder that affects the about 1 in 5 lakh births. Less than 200 cases have been reported worldwide, with about 10 to 15 cases in India. Bird flu in Andhra Pradesh. For impacted areas declined as the biosecurity zones restrictions imposed. A view of a poultry farm near Nunna in NTR district in Andhra Pradesh. The four areas are Badampudi in Eluru district, Vilupuru and Kanuru in West Godavari, and Kampalagu Dam in Krishna district. The Andhra Pradesh government has declared four areas as biosecurity zones, while the restrictions are imposed in the view of the identification of avian influenza bird flu case in the state. The four areas are Vadampuri in Eluru district, Vilpuru and Kanuru in West Godavari, and Gampalagudem in the NTR district. Andhra Pradesh collects full study bird flu situation and take appropriate decisions regarding this serving eggs in the midday meal. Addressing the media at the Secretariat on Thursday, February 13, 2025, Minister of Agriculture and Animal Husbandry Kinjarapu Achanaidu said that based on the guidelines from the central government, the biosecurity zones were declared in the areas wherein there was no outbreak of bird flu. The security restrictions are imposed in 3 layers. At each of the biosecurity zone, the first layer of security would be provided within the radius of 1 kilometer distance from the village. Where the bird flu is prevalent, this is called a red zone. Here, the entire mobility of the people and birds are restricted from one farm to another. The second layer of security restrictions are imposed between 1 kilometer and 10 kilometer, which is called the surveillance area, where the government will monitor. Here, mobility is not restricted. Beyond 10 kilometers, there is no restriction on sale and consumption of chicken and eggs. Now, at last, there is a famous personality of India who is known by his famous name, Sir Muhammad Iqbal. Born on 9 November 1877 up to 21st of April 1938. Was a South Asian Islamic philosopher, poet and a politician. His poetry is considered to be among the greatest of the 20th century, and his vision of culture and a political ideal for Muslims of British rule in India is widely regarded as having intimated the pulse for the Pakistan movement. He is commonly referred to by the honorific Allama Persian, and widely considered one of the most important and influential Muslim thinkers and Western religious philosophers of the 20th century. From biography point of view, born and raised in the Sialkot, Punjab, Iqbal completed his BA and MA at the Government College in Lahore. He taught Arabic at the Oriental College in Lahore from 1899 until 1903, during which time he wrote a prolifically. Notable among his other poems from this period are Parinde Ki Faryad, translated as A Bird's Prayer, an early contemplation on animal rights, and Taranai Hind, translated as Anthem of India, a patriotic poem both composed for children. In 1905, he departed from India to pursue further education in Europe, first in England and later in Germany. In England, he earned a second BA at Trinity College, Cambridge, and subsequently qualified as a barrister at Lincoln's Inn in Germany. In Germany, he obtained a PhD in philosophy at the University of Munich, with the thesis focusing on the development of the metaphysics in Persia. In 1908, upon his return to the Lahore in 1908, Iqbal established a law practice, but primarily focused on producing scholarly works on the politics, economics, history, philosophy, and religion. He is most renowned for his poetic compositions, including Asrar-e Khudi, for which he was honored with the British knighthood upon its publication, Ramzi-be-Khudi and Bhagye-Dhara. His literary works in the Persian language garnered him recognition in Iran, where he is commonly known as Iqbal-e-Lahori, meaning Iqbal of Lahore. An ardent proponent of the political and spiritual revival of the Muslim world, particularly of the Muslims in the Indian subcontinent. A series of lectures Iqbal delivered to be this effect were published. The reconstruction of religious thoughts in Islam in 1930. He was elected to the Punjab Legislative Council in 1927 and held several positions in the All India Muslim League. In his Allahabad address delivered at the League's annual assembly in 1930, he formulated a political framework for the Muslim majority regions spanning northwestern India, spurring the League pursuit of the two-nation theory. In the month of August 1947, 9 years after Iqbal's death, the partition of India gave way to the establishment of Pakistan, an early independent Islamic state in which the elder Iqbal was honored as the national poet. He is also known as the Pakistani Society as Hakimul Ummah, the wise man of Ummah, and Mufakkir of Pakistan, the thinker of Pakistan. The anniversary of his birth, Yawm Wiladat Muhammad Iqbal, 9 November, is observed as a public holiday in Pakistan. Allama Iqbal says a very famous quotation. He says that with the faith, discipline, and selfless devotion to duty, there is nothing worthwhile that you cannot achieve. Okay, thank you.